this is going to be 6 times 2 times a negative 3. So it's 36. It's going to be a negative 36. So f prime of 0 is negative. So this tells us that our original function is decreasing on this interval. So now if we look from 3 to infinity, we can choose something like x equals to 4. If we look at f prime of 4, f prime of 4 is going to be 6 times 4 plus 2 times 4 minus 3. It's going to be 6 times 4 plus 2 is 6. 4 minus 3 is 1, which is going to be a positive 36. So f prime of 4 is going to be positive. So this tells us our original function is increasing on this interval. So from here, so this tells us, okay, if we look at the critical number x equals negative 2, the function is increasing on the left and decreasing on the right. So negative 2 should be a relative maximum, and negative 3 should be a relative minimum. So our conclusion is there is a relative maximum at x equals negative 2, and there is a relative minimum at x equals 3. Okay. So find all relative extrema of this function. F prime, set it to 0. We found all the values of x that make f prime either 0 or undefined, and that gave us x equals negative 2 and x equals 3. So then we set up our intervals to test. We chose proper test values. Then we looked at the sign of those intervals, and that gave us a description of what the original function was doing. So again, since at a critical point of negative 2, it was increasing on the left and decreasing on the right, we knew that negative 2 was a relative maximum. And then at 3, since it's decreasing on the left and increasing on the right, that's a relative minimum. Okay. Let's take a look at another example. Example 2. Find all relative extrema of the function. We have f of x equals x to the 4th minus x cubed. So again, if we're going to talk about extrema, we need to look at f prime of x. So our f prime is going to be 4x cubed minus 3x squared. If we set this to 0 and solve, we get 4x cubed minus 3x squared. Set it to 0. Again, it's not going to be undefined. There's not going to be an x that makes this undefined. So if we solve for x here, notice we can factor out an x squared from both of these terms. So you can write this as x squared times, and this will be a 4x here, and this will be a negative 3. Okay. So this tells us that when x is 0, or if x is 3 over 4, either of these two numbers will make f prime 0. So again, if we set up a table where we're looking at our interval, our test value, the sign of f prime, and then our conclusion. So we need to test, we have 0 and 3 over 4. So this tells us we should test from negative infinity to 0. So we can choose something like x equals -1. So now we need to find the sign of f prime of -1. So let's see, f prime of -1 is going to be 4 times the -1 cubed minus 3 times the -1 squared. That's going to be a -4 minus 3, which is -7. So we have f prime of -1 is negative. So that tells us that our original function is decreasing. Okay, so now if we look at the interval from 0 to 3 over 4, we can choose a test value of a half. So now if we look at the sign of f prime of a half, so this f prime of a half is going to be 4 times a half cubed minus 3 times a half squared. That's going to be 4 times 1 over 8 minus 3 times 1 over 4. Then that's going to be